HM Productions presents White Devil Podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to White Devil Minicast number 3. I'm your host, TheHande, and I'm joined by Retro Kaiser.
That's right, fellas. It's the D in the next round. It's that guy that's completely underrated that everyone ignores. I'm not Hanu. I'm not any of the guests that's going to be on the main White Devil podcast. I am James T. Kaiser.
Nice. Excellent. And welcome to the minicast as promised. This is where we will be basically kind of migrated the Q&A segment. So whichever people decide to listen to first, either the all match game edition White Devil podcast or this one first, it doesn't really matter, but we will just, for the sake of clarity, we are recording this before the other guests have arrived, and we'll be answering questions that people have sent us. And this will kind of be the initial responses to the first two minicasts seem to have been pretty positive. I've noticed that some people have actually been watching them, and that's really nice. But I think this one will be kind of the big litmus test to see if people really responded to the minicasts as positively. And this will, and I will be bringing out this episode and the all match game edition simultaneously. And people will have noticed this by the time this comes out, because on the week following, actually tomorrow, what's going online is a new movie review, which you've already seen.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, have I already seen it?
Yes, I sent you the link, or at least I hope you watched it.
Well, I hope I watched it.
Yeah, it was, so in case people, so that will be Pixels,
Oh, yes!
Yes, the most misunderstood video game movie, and that's
The movie where Adam Sandler looks like the angry video game nerd.
Not really, no, not so much, but okay, but just giving the heads up on that. Like, it probably won't take me too long to edit the match game episode together. The thing about the match game, of course, is I have to add in all the sound effects, which it doesn't take like that long, but it does mean that I have to listen to the whole thing. Add the music.
Yes,
also.
it means he actually has to do editing for once.
I do editing, but it's usually in the past it's been removing the silence mostly. That's kind of been the big deal. Okay, but before we head into Question Town, which we luckily got some really good questions from a couple of people. Is there anything, Kaiser, you wanna shamelessly plug or mention, or how just generally speaking of how are you doing right now?
I'm doing pretty good. Very hard at work at my reviews as usual. I'm also still preparing for this year's Shmuptober, which is scheduled to be out in October, which is still quite some time away. But when you're doing a review for every day for 31 days, you got to start early.
Yeah,
real early.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. That sounds super crazy. And you're also you just came out with another dramatic reading.
Dramatic reading.
Yeah.
Yep.
It popped up before we were starting this. It popped up on YouTube. I'll be listening to that later tonight.
Yes, it's funny. I was looking for that and I realized I haven't even uploaded part 1 on YouTube. I've uploaded the video, but I haven't uploaded it to YouTube. I've got part 2 though. And this isn't 100% official, only mainly because I don't know how long Shmuptober is going to be lengthwise, nor if I can get all the parts that need it, but I'm trying my darnest at the moment. Hopefully for December, this year's Shmuptober is going to be released as a home video release.
Nice.
And by home video release, I mean good old VHS.
Yeah, you're not even joking about that. You actually plan to put it on.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
and yes, for the record, I'm still working on Retro Kaiser the game, but the reviews and whatnot have slowed me down on that one. Like, I'm still writing out stories and I'm still drawing stuff in my little notebook. Like, I've even got some prototype enemy designs as well. Like, for example, I'm gonna spoil it now. Like, I drew this like ghost creature that likes to pretend to, like, they're trying to pretend to be humans by putting like they look like, the stereotypical sheep ghost, but they're like the sheep ghost, but they put like a mannequin head on top of their body in order to try to pretend to be human. Well,
yeah. Okay, I misheard you. Sorry, I misheard you at first because I totally thought you said sheep ghost. But then I realized you meant sheet with a T at the end.
Oh, I thought you were worried that I said shit ghost.
No. No. Boo. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was my mistake. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Talk about your sheet with a T at the end, ghost.
Yes. It's just that kind of ghost with a mannequin strapped to its head in order to look like him. If you look at it I know that's stupid choice of words. No one can see this damn design, but the body, the body of the ghost is supposed to designed to look like a woman in a dress. And I've purposely given these ghosts big noses in order to make it look like the female breast. In order to go with the theme. It's not pervy or anything. It just looks like, oh, there's just a ghost with this creepy shaved mannequin head just strapped to its body.
Interesting.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, the really big. I was wondering what was coming after that, giving the ghost a really big what? But yeah. Okay, very good, nice, and yeah, I would really hope to see a new version of Retro Kaiser the game. Not if for no other reason. I've said this before. If for no other reason than the fact that I actually did provide a few enemy designs for the game as well.
I've still got them in the folder.
Yeah. Okay. But, so, Kaiser, are you ready to answer to some questions from the listeners?
Well, I haven't even finished talking about my videotape yet, so no.
Oh, you want to talk about the videotape? Okay, go ahead.
I forgot to say when I plan on releasing it. I plan on releasing it around December, pending if I can fit them all onto two. I want to make it like a 2-tape release, nothing big, like a limited edition of 30 tapes. So I have to be very careful with the music I use in these reviews. Otherwise, I'm gonna get sued for what I don't have.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing is the only hard thing is I've got 2 TV grade videotapes ready to serve as the masters, but trying to find blank videotapes in stores is getting really difficult. So I probably have to go to online where people are trying to sell them for ridiculous prices, $30 for a pack of 6. I don't remember tapes being that much, but yeah, December, hopefully, if all things go all well. If not, whenever they're done, just like Retro Kaiser the game.
And also, yeah, I gotta say, chime in on this video thing is that I've already volunteered. We haven't set any firm plans yet, but I have already volunteered to do the animated intro for this thingamabob. So
yeah, yes, because I want something on the tape to be different compared to the YouTube broadcast, or I'm just calling them the television versions.
Oh yeah.
So, and also be warned, if you hear something on my YouTube that's got a certain soundtrack, there's also a chance that the soundtrack on the videotape might be a bit different. I know the AVGN had to go through this process when releasing his stuff on DVD as well, so it's nothing new. It's just to cover my ass.
Yeah. All right. Okay, but now are you ready to answer some questions from the listeners?
Well, Hanu, I'm kidding there. Let's get ready to answer.
Yes. All right, and we have a few questions from people on the YouTubes, and then we have some questions from people in the on Facebook. And our very first questions, 2 of them if I'm counting correctly. 2 questions coming from Boobop1987, who also does movie reviews on YouTube, and yeah. So let's first of all let's just read what she has to say. Boobop1987, she writes in, I have 2 questions for you. 1, have you ever seen the movie called Third Person? And trust about this third-person film that feature oh great and mighty Liam Neeson. This is what I call oh heck no movie. And 2, what do you think of Spider-Man Homecoming? Okay, so she's asking about first of all this movie Third Person with Liam Neeson, and then Spider-Man Homecoming. And I have not heard of this movie Third Person. Have you?
I haven't either.
Yeah, which is weird because
but going by her recommendation, she requested a movie I have not yet seen. I will go downtown to find a video store. I will find it, and I will rent it.
Yeah. Okay. Knowing how Rebecca, aka Boobop, uses the heck no, it means that something nasty is about to happen.
Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
Yeah. So sorry, Boobop. We have not seen that movie. I don't know about it. And that's the thing. Like Liam Neeson is in a lot of movies that I really just have never even heard of. I know like the famous ones, but and a few of the obscure ones, but like, yeah, no, I haven't heard about that one. And then she asked about Spider-Man: Homecoming, and
Ooh.
and yes, I have seen it. What about you, Kaiser? Have you seen it yet?
No, but I plan on seeing it in cinemas if I can. If not, I'm gonna be watching that one day one as soon as it gets to home video release.
All right.
I haven't been excited for it. I haven't been excited to see a Spider-Man movie ever since the 2002 Sam Raimi one.
All right. Okay.
So I'm pumped for it. I'm really pumped.
Okay.
I'm also glad looking at the trailer. They brought like the original. They brought back like the spider wingsuit with like the web bits, as I call them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try to say my thoughts on Spider-Man: Homecoming as briefly and as spoiler-free as I possibly can. So. I didn't write a review. Again, I did the same thing with this movie as I did with the Pirates of the Caribbean, the new one that came out this year, is that I didn't write a review, but instead I made a top 5 list of my favorite Spider-Man movies. And
Oh,
yes?
you know what this is reminding me of right now? This is reminding me on the first mini when I talked about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what did I think about Spider-Man: Homecoming, generally speaking, and trying to avoid spoilers wherever possible? Well, I did like it. I thought it was a good Spider-Man movie. And, you know, on one hand, I do have to say that the movie did do a good job of kind of establishing its own identity. It's very teen comedy-ish in its stylings, but I thought it was good.
So,
Yes?
so it has a scene where he drills a hole into the girls' changing room just to peek.
No, not good. Not quite that far. But it's very comedy driven. That's the main thing. And I would almost say almost a little too comedy driven. Like it really it just very desperately wants to make people laugh. And I did laugh. I did think it was genuinely fun. And you know, especially with superhero movies, I'm perfectly fine with them having a lot of comedy. I do feel they went a little too far, but you know, this is still teeny Spider-Man. So, but I felt that they kind of went a little over the top with trying to kind of establish like he's trying so hard and then like fucking it up occasionally. But yeah, there's a lot of comedy in this, and that was a good thing that the teeny comedy aspects of it is that I think the good part about that is that it did establish this, and it gave this movie its own identity. The thing that I didn't really like about the fact that, of course, this movie is also set in the MCU, and that's going to be difficult if people have not seen the other related MCU movies, namely Civil War, and to a lesser extent, like the first Avengers movie gets referenced. But you know, that's the one thing I kind of hate, is that part of the plot is very heavily reliant on that. It does have enough an identity of its own, but I do have one major gripe with the movie, and that's the thing, is that it's very long. It's really long. Like it does focus on the like I said, it focuses on Spider-Man's on Spider-Man's daily routine of trying to help people and stuff, and that's good. But I think that it's because it's kind of split between these two things. That it has kind of one foot in the Avengers door and one foot in the Spider-Man realm. It does like both well enough that the movie, that you can still kind of enjoy it as its own standalone movie. But it does kind of stretch it out a little bit. But I thought Michael Keaton was really, really good as the Vulture.
Yep, we got Birdman playing the Vulture.
Oh yeah. And there's another classic Spider-Man villain that makes an appearance, but I won't spoil it for anybody. I'll leave it up to you. But I think anyone who's a hardcore Spider-Man fan will instantly recognize this person. And there's actually a lot of people have been saying, and I didn't really think about it, but now it kind of makes sense a little bit. Like there are a lot of like hidden references put in there. So I liked it.
Good.
I didn't.
I love Marvel movies doing that.
Yeah.
Marvel movies doing that.
Yep. So yeah, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite Spider-Man movie, and people have been really praising this actor whose name I still have not learned. I mean, yeah, he's better than Andrew Garfield, but people have been saying like, this is like the best actor they've ever had for Spider-Man, and like, really, he's kind of like, yeah, he's fun. Like, the thing I love is that he does the quips and things like what Spider-Man usually does, but he's very kind of vanilla for me, honestly. Like, okay, well, then again, this is just me, but I just love Tobey Maguire so much in the Raimi movies.
I do too. For me, he'll forever be Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I liked it, and people can go shameless self-plug. I saw you can go read that blog about the my top 5 favorite Spider-Man movies, if you so wish. Okay, sorry, I need to drink some water now.
Yep, it's okay. It's my brother. Sorry, I was on mute. My brother was just in here moving some stuff. I wish he was here a little bit longer. I would have asked him who his favorite Spider-Man was.
Okay. All right.
No, Tobey Maguire all the way.
Okay, but thank you for those questions, Boobop in 1987, and let's move on to Sindel Softbite. And actually, hey, before we go to the questions, so Sindel Softbite is he's a Finnish artist who also follows me on Twitter. I've mentioned before, actually, that he's one of my favorite Twitter peeps because, he follows my posts and stuff, and he draws great artwork. And get this, we might post this either on the Minicast, on the YouTube version of the Minicast, or the YouTube version of the All Match Game Cast. Sindel has created a new version of the White Devil logo, and I'm gonna send it to Kaiser right now. Kaiser has not seen it yet, so I'm gonna send it to trying my darnest. There we go.
Race for a reaction video. Let me see. Ooh. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. So already, thank you. Before we even go to the questions, thank you, Sindel, for sending this. This might official. This is the second official piece of White Devil fan art that we've gotten. I guess the art that Loco Aranja created for me originally, which you can also see on the White Devil main pages.
I've got some art created especially for the White Devil Let's Plays of the Big the Cat campaign.
Oh boy, looking forward to that. Okay, but
no, that's sarcasm I hear.
no, I'm not being sarcastic. Okay, all right, but seriously, let's get to the questions now. And Sindel has a bunch, so I guess we'll go one question at a time with this one because he has 4 questions for us. Okay.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. So Sindel Southbite, he asks, number 1, what are your guys' favorite media set in ancient Rome or Greek? I guess he means Greece. And what would you want to see from those time periods / settings depicted? Okay. I'll let you go first, Kaiser. So what's your favorite media set in ancient Rome or Greece?
The Life of Brian.
Oh, okay. You're really kind of, broadening the idea. But yes, I suppose, yeah, it's Rome occupied Israel, but Life of Brian. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
It is. It's very exaggerated of the timeline, and some people would debate that timeline actually existed. So,
yeah.
But
no, that's a good answer. I'm thinking more ancient Greece. I haven't watched stuff set in ancient Rome unless you count the Asterix movies. I mean, of course, I've seen Life of Brian, but Asterix is the next thing that comes to mind. But
does Gladiator count?
Yeah, it does. Totally does. Yeah, I haven't seen Gladiator though. So, but you've seen it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Like, I haven't seen the full thing, but I've seen enough to get a good picture of what it's about.
Yeah.
And how it ends.
Okay, yeah.
It's not bad. It's worth watching, but you do notice some movie mistakes in it, like noticing like how old like the carriages have like turbo boost hidden in them.
Oh,
you can
yeah.
see,
yeah.
Like those cheaty gladiators, all of them. modern inventions.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and also, I've never been much for like ancient Rome so much. I'm more of an ancient Greek kind of guy. So my obvious favorite pick.
Sorry, I'm about to interrupt. But when we're talking about this, it just reminds me of that line from Airplane / Flying High. Jimmy, do you like movies about naked gladiators?
I don't think he said naked, but yeah. Do you like movies about gladiators? Yeah. Okay, but the thing I was going for is like ancient Greece is more of my thing, especially like Greek mythology is my shit, really. So obviously, my favorite media from that would probably be Hercules, the Disney movie, and then the television show with Michael Serbo. Is that the guy's name?
I'm pretty sure it is, and I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for reminding me about that.
Okay, so Michael Sarbo, and this bleeds into the second question. This was kind of two questions in one, which is like, what would I want to see from those time periods / settings depicted? Well, I would love to say I would want to see I would like to see for reals a proper live action, accurate to the original Greek myth movie about Hercules. Because this is funny because a couple of years ago, do you remember this, guys? A couple of years ago, two Hercules movies came out the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the one had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it, which was an adaptation of not Alan Moore, the other guy, Frank Miller, of the Frank Miller comic book Hercules, which was a kind of weird, sort of realistic take on Hercules, where his amazing feats and mythical things were kind of explained as, the Hydra wasn't actually like a dragon who lived in a swamp. It was a bunch of assassins, and they kill them and bring the heads of the Hydra, so to speak, to a king, and, stuff like that. And I saw that movie in movie theaters, wasn't super impressed with it, even though it had some good moments in it. And then there was the other Hercules movie, which was by Rennie Harlin, which I suppose was another trying to take the myth of Hercules and make it sort of realistic kind of bullshit. Because the thing about Hercules is that, Hercules, buff guy, fights monsters. That's his thing. Like, just make that fucking movie. Come on. Yeah, sorry. I cut you off there. What did you say?
The whole the whole ridiculous nature about Hercules is what makes it fun.
Oh, yeah, totally. And the Disney version, I hate to say this, that the Disney version is still the best movie version because it gets at the core. I mean, it completely, like, distorts, like, Hercules' origin story because it's just a superhero film set in ancient Greece and not the real story of Hercules. That's why the Michael Serbo television show is a bit more accurate. There's one thing that and I don't know how I would feel about this, but, if they did this for the movie version, but, in the original Greek myth, Hercules, he has multiple wives because his first wife dies or goes insane, depending on the version of the myth. But he also has a bunch of male lovers. One of them is Iolus. Wow. Yes, one of them is Iolus, who was his sidekick in the television show. So
looks like Hercules swung his sword both ways.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Yeah, that would have given that show a whole different kind of vibe. But yeah, but you know what? That's the thing. Like, I just would want to see like a more like myth accurate movie depiction of Hercules, with or without homosexual things in it. I don't mind, but just make it about like him fighting monsters. Like that's the thing I want to see, and make it a little bit more accurate to the myth, because like the movie versions, that's what they do. They always try to come out with like new different ways of depicting Hercules, and like just do the regular thing. Come on, because I love Greek myths and stuff like that.
When I heard the thing about fighting things and fucking monsters, like that would make a great anime edition of Hercules.
Oh. I don't think I said fucking monsters, but okay. Okay, and here's the thing, there's a lot of like things said in ancient Greece that I still haven't seen. I've seen the movie 300, which again, it's a Frank Miller comic book adaptation. I do like that. I don't have a problem with it. But I haven't seen like Troy. That's one that I definitely have to see at some point because it's a Wolfgang Petersen movie.
I like that one. That's not a bad one.
Oh yeah, I totally have to see that. And even though it's been like heavily criticized, I still want to see the fucking Alexander the Great movie that had, was it Brad Pitt or Colin, what's his face?
It was Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, yeah. Even though it's been like heavily criticized, I still want to see that because those are the two. Those are something.
Sometimes the most criticized movies are the most enjoyable.
Oh yeah, and totally one other thing. I think this should be like its own standalone movie. They should make like a movie about like fucking Athena. Because I've like recent years I've been like reading up on Athena, and she's like a really big major supporting character, even like in the Hercules story, and nobody knows a fucking goddamn thing about her. Like she's
except that she's a teen pop star idol in the King of Fighters games.
Okay, that's a different Athena, but okay, whatever. All right, but I think we. Oh, but hey, Kaiser, you want to answer the second part? What is a thing that you would want to see depicted from the Roman Greek ancient period?
This is gonna sound a bit dirty, but probably like me. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Caligula.
Ooh, okay. There is a movie about that. Do you mean they?
I know I wouldn't mind. Like I'm also a bit afraid because I heard of how it's supposed to be dark and controversial.
Yeah, yeah. I think either Playboy or Penthouse was involved in the production of it, so it's got a lot of.
The scary thing is like seeing like Anthony Hopkins in a sex scene. It's like ugh.
Isn't Malcolm McDowell the?
Oh, sorry. All grey-haired people look alike to me.
Now that's super fucking racist.
That's not racist. Yeah, that's like haircist.
Haircist. Okay. Okay. So you want to? What you would want to see like a new take on Caligula?
Yes, I misunderstood. The thing I actually would like to see is I'd like to see a take on Nero.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Like I've heard stories about it, like that would make an interesting movie.
It would. I think that. Okay, like I said, I'm not into Rome so much, but there was that TV show called Rome, and I think they did do something with Nero there. I might be remembering incorrectly though. Okay, but I guess we answered that question, right? So let's move on to the second one, and this is something I'm really interested in. Okay, so number 2. Thoughts on Nintendo being a bit more obvious when it comes to fan service with their recent female characters like in ARMS and Zelda, and what kind of effect could it have on Samus in the new Metroid?
All I can say is I want to see Samus in a Dead or Alive game. Enough said.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is something that I have noticed myself, and I think what is happening is that Nintendo is kind of imitating their old rival Sega a little bit with the.
Yes, I've noticed that too.
Yes.
Soon, oh great! I was trying to think. Soon, some of the Pokemon will start looking like Rouge the Bat.
No, but you know, ARMS, the boxing game for Switch. Yeah, there was the black lady in that game, and people have noticed that she has quite the how would I put this? She has quite the magnificent posterior.
Great ass.
Yeah, that ass. And people have been wondering,
I'm not normally a butts person, but she's converting me. Oh boy.
Okay, and Zelda. Well, I've actually played a little bit of Breath of the Wild. I actually bought it for the Wii U this summer, so I don't still have a Switch. I got the Wii U version, and I don't think I've seen that much fan service in it yet. Maybe I'm still missing something, but I don't feel there's any more than there's been in any prior Zelda game. I did get to the part where Link gets to dress in drag, so. But
Are you sure he dresses in drag? I mean, he's in a green miniskirt throughout every other Zelda game.
No, but I mean literally he puts on like a very, very kind of effeminate Arabian style clothing at one point. It's part of the plot. But anyway,
Will Smith in Wild Wild West from the sales.
Yeah, but like you know, I think it's nice that Nintendo is finally kind of acknowledging that side of the of their fandom, because you know Nintendo fans have been drawing dirty Nintendo fan art since time immemorial.
I agree with you. It's very nice, but I still think we're a long way away before we see Peach's Peach.
Oh yeah, and the thing that Sindel asks specifically about Samus in the new Metroid, I have to say that even though, despite the direction which Nintendo is now headed towards, with this kind of fan service, I mean, it's still very mild. Let's be honest. It's nowhere near as obvious as some other companies, and also Samus is a character Nintendo has always been really protective with, protective about, and after the thing with the other M, which I liked, but a lot of other people didn't, I think what they're going to do is that they're going to try to kind of bring it back, because, the new games that they've announced are going to be, it's going to be another 2D Metroid, it's going to be another Metroid Prime, and I think they're going to try to bring Samus back to the way she was before, which honestly is, kind of a bland character, but that's the thing. That's the thing. Like Arms, they're willing to go out on a limb, but dish with Arms because it's a new franchise, new characters. So if they do a little bit of fan service for the older fans, that's fine. And Zelda, like I said, I haven't actually seen anything. I think I've been misled a little bit on the fan service front. I mean, nothing here is like, yeah. Sorry? Yep.
Come to think of it, I think Nintendo's been a bit, they've always sort of been a bit fan service, like, not as much, like, look at Samus, even in the NES game, there was the option to have a, fight around in her bikini.
Yeah.
And Zero Suits, and when I introduced Zero Suits, I was like, oh boy, that got a lot of teenage boys to buy the game series. And also, of course, you've got the naked beauty, Birdo, with a glorious mouth hole, but I'm joking. No, the other, I messed it up too. Like, I forgot about Zero Suit Samus. It's like, no, they've always had that element of fan service. It's just, it comes like every few years when people actually, I can't believe I'm saying this while waving my hands around like I'm grabbing something, but, screw it. Nintendo's always had fan service. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a little bit of fan service, and like you said, it's nice, but I don't think seriously this is going to affect Metroid in any serious fashion. Okay, the next question. This is kind of interesting. I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Sindel's third question: cyberpunk or swords and sorcery type fantasy? Kaiser.
Why not both?
Interesting answer. But if you had to, but if somebody put a gun to your head and made you choose only one, which one would you go with?
Sword and sorcery. It's incredibly fun to play through those games as a nearly naked hunk of a man. I mean, I feel good playing as essentially Fabio in a game, rescuing a scantily clad woman. It makes me feel good. Sorry, feminists. It's true.
Okay. I find this choice is really, really weird, honestly, that Sindel would pick specifically cyberpunk against sword and sorcery fantasy. Because if it's these two choices, then yes, sword and sorcery fantasy wins by a landslide for me, but that's just because I don't really like cyberpunk. That any kind of genre with punk in the title, I'm not a fan of. So that's the thing. If it was just sci-fi and just fantasy, then yes, absolutely sci-fi all the way. Like, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I have a video about my top 12 favorite sci-fi movies because I fucking love sci-fi so much. But if it's these two, like cyberpunk, the only few examples that I can come up with are both Keanu Reeves movies. I don't hate either one of them, but it's like, no, so sword and sorcery, yeah, fucking, taking an iron sword and slicing dragons' heads off, like, yeah, versus I'm in the Matrix. Definitely dragons over that.
And also sword and sorcery goes really well with heavy metal, and that's one of my favorite genres. So it's quite satisfying, killing dragons while listening to Flash of the Blade by Iron Maiden.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just have never been that big of a cyberpunk fan. Like, just regular sci-fi. I'm a big, aliens, alien creatures kind of stuff, space opera, whatever the hell Star Trek is. And
Oh, this is funny. A picture you need to make for this is like, since I said sword and sorcery and you said sci-fi, you need to make me as the guy from Dragon's Lair and you from Space Ace.
Oh boy, I got too many good like card ideas for this. Like when I'm gonna put this on YouTube. Like the thing about fantasy.
Please don't let one of them. Please don't let one of them be Birdo's glorious mouthhole.
Oh boy. Okay. No, but I just want to say, like, the one thing I have to say about fantasy is that the one big criticism I can maybe like say about fantasy as a whole is like so much of it is so derivative of other stuff. I mean, yes, sci-fi, you got that too, but I always feel like with a sci-fi thing, if you got like a really, really like original kind of a highlight moment, it's always usually it usually resonates with me way more than with a fantasy setting. So I don't know. This is a really difficult question. Well,
Yes,
this choice is not
that.
this choice is not hard at all. But I just find it, it opens up a lot of other things.
Going by
Yep.
that example, sword and sorcery is more can be more for like primitive thinking, but for sci-fi it's more of like a lot more thinking. I know I say primitive thinking making it's a bad thing, but I'm not. Both genres are especially good, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We
one's
could
got
basically
room for
take a
lot
whole
more.
podcast about this topic alone. Let's move on to the final question that Sindel has. And the fourth and final question that Sindel has, and I actually have a perfect answer for this. Any game caused any of you a case of Stockholm syndrome, meaning you desperately try to justify your purchase by trying to find fun in a game? And I have the perfect answer for this, because I was playing it earlier today, and we were talking about this before the podcast. It's the first Street Fighter. That game has got me in a serious case of Stockholm syndrome, because no matter how fucking broken that game is, I keep coming back to try to beat it just so I can say that that I've beaten the first Street Fighter. Yes, sorry.
Well, if you like that, you're gonna like my answer. E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Wow. Okay, so you've actually tried beating it.
I have a few times. I can't get out of that damn first hole, that glorious first hole, but I for some reason, I always go back to it and trying to beat it serious space, but I just can't. And I can't say that I hate the game as well. It's got that bizarre feeling that it's a weird love relationship with it.
Oh yeah. I have a kind of similar thing with the also with international karate. It's like I did a whole video about that where I cheesed my way to Mount Fuji. So
That's a great book.
yeah,
That's a great book.
cheese your way to Mount Fuji. The Ultimate Cheater's Game Guide. Yeah, that's a book we need to publish. Okay. I was thinking about other games that I've had like this. I that's the only one that comes to mind, though. I know I must have tried others. I've played others, but eventually, if I really do hate a game, then I usually just kind of admit it in the end. I'm trying to think of. There must be another game that I always keep coming back to, but then I'm always just as disappointed. I don't. But right off the top of my head, at this moment, I can't really think of one.
I know. Sonic Heroes.
Oh yeah, so for Sonic Heroes. By the way,
Yeah.
when's the first episode of that Let's Play coming out?
Maybe never. I just no. I'm kidding. After Sonic Adventure is out.
Oh yeah. All right. Good to hear that there's at least a set thing for that. Okay, but those were the questions from Sindel Softbite. Thank you very much for those questions. And lastly, we have a few questions posted on Facebook by none other than one of the guests of the All Match Game edition of White Devil Cast, which is the who is this person is Loco Laranja, or Loco Laranja, I suppose is what the proper Spanish pronunciation is. All right, and Loco L asks, and she's got 3 questions for us. Question number 1. With the DuckTales reboot coming out soon, do you have any plans to talk about it in a future video? Oh well, I guess this is for both of us. What about you?
Mhm.
Do you plan to talk about the...
I saw one image of that show and it immediately turned me off.
Really?
Yeah, I did not like the way Dewey, Huey, and Louie looked. They looked, pardon my this is going to sound a little bit politically incorrect, but they sort of look like they got a really weird disease, like a bad case of swollen head.
Okay.
They just don't look right to me. They look cheap. They look really cheap.
Have you seen the trailer yet?
No.
Yeah, you should. Maybe make your decision based on that. Because the trailer went a long way to convince me that I do want to watch this. The thing is, I don't know where it's gonna air at all. So because I live in Finland, people have to remember this. I live in Finland. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to watch this show when it comes out, or if it immediately comes out. Probably not. I'm gonna have to wait, and I'm gonna have to find out where it's going to be aired. I'm feeling very positive about it overall. I'm looking forward to it, but like I said, I have to figure out first of all how I'm gonna be able to watch it, if I'm gonna be able to watch it at all. But as for making a video about it, I don't think so. Because I don't keep up with television shows for one thing. And that's another thing. That's another thing. Did you see have you seen the Netflix Castlevania series?
I still need to watch it.
Okay, I did see it. I saw it thanks to my sister Minna, who has Netflix, and we watched the whole thing through. And she was very disappointed because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. But they've already approved the next season, so all's clear on that front. But like, I didn't make a video about that either, even though I did think the series was, the little short series that it is, it was I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't even write a blog about it. And that's the thing, because I don't keep up with TV and shows like that, so I don't have I don't have a strong desire to really talk about those things. So yeah, sorry, no, unless I get super lucky and somehow, because my thing is always I gotta have if I'm gonna do a review video or something like that, I really gotta have footage of it. Maybe I'll do a shitty couch vlog, but again, if I want to do a shitty couch vlog, I really gotta have a strong reason to talk about it. So yeah.
Or you can talk about it in a future White Devil podcast, because I know you post these podcasts on YouTube as well. Does that technically count as a video?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. If we do another Disney Tunes cast, that could be. But I'm pretty sure other people are going to have other people that I know who are friends of the podcast will probably be able to get to see it much sooner than I do. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was being Mickey there.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess we answered that question. Okay. Hey,
yes,
and this next question is for Kaiser. So. Okay, a question for Kaiser. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Rocko's Modern Life TV special?
There's a Rocko's Modern Life TV special coming up. Well, sign me up for it, because I'm looking forward to it. I loved that show as a kid. It was bizarre. It was wacky. And as a grown-up, I stuffed that up again. It was bizarre. It was wacky. It's probably something I probably shouldn't have been watching as a kid, but I'm actually happy to hear that news. Now, only if they can bring out another season of Ren and Stimpy that doesn't suck, that'll be the icing on the cake as well.
All right. And I never watched Rocko's Modern Rocko's Modern Life. So.
Rocko's Modern Living. You need to watch it. Wait, are you a fan of those edgy cartoons that are full of adult humor?
I mean, if they're done well, maybe. I know what the show is, and I've seen. They do compilations of when they ever do compilations of dirty moments in kids' cartoons. They always seem to find that clip of is Rocco the dog?
That's Spunky. Spunky's the dog. Rocco's the little wallaby.
Okay, well, this show where he's like a sex line worker, like a telephone. Yeah, that part. I've seen that part. Yeah.
Did you thought Rocco was a dog?
Well, I never watched the show, so how would I know?
Well, you might like this. He's actually an Australian wallaby, which is pretty much a midget kangaroo.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So
I mean, little person kangaroo.
A little kangaroo. Let's leave it at that. Okay, a mini kangaroo. In fact, see, I'm bringing it back to the Minicast. Okay, but you know what doesn't make sense to me? The word minigun. There's nothing mini about that. Whoever the hell came up with that idea? With that
Probably
name?
a hipster.
Yeah. Okay, but I guess Kaiser answered the question. So we have one more question from Loco Laranja. So, and the question is, what things from your childhood traumatized you back then? I'm not sure if she's talking about television or just legitimately traumatized. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had like a super traumatizing moment as a kid, but I do remember as a little kid, I was kind of sensitive, so there were a lot of TV shows that scared the fuck out of me. So I don't know. Do you want to say something to this?
Yes.
Yes.
The Howard the Duck movie.
Okay.
It's not what you think. It's when I was a kid when you saw like the main bad guy with like the demon claw come out of his thing. That scared me, and it sort of scarred me to ever go back to that movie, even as an adult.
Oh boy.
I'm sure I probably love it now, but I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
Movie scarred me.
Yeah, and it's also a weird like yes, I was maybe a little sensitive as a kid, but also this is something that me and my sister talk about occasionally all the time. Is like there were like really fucked up kids shows back in the day when we were growing up. So we got traumatized by all kinds of. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen this show called Alfred J. Quack.
No.
It's about a duck whose parents and family and siblings all get run over by a fucking car, and he gets raised by a mole who becomes like his foster father.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yes. Yeah, and that show not only was that show kind of intense for a children's cartoon show, like one of his childhood it like starts when he's a child and then it follows his adventures when he grows up. And one of his childhood bullies, like, turns into this Adolf Hitler far-right dictator at one point. And it was the kind of show where, first of all, it was kind of intense, kind of traumatic shit would happen. It had a great soundtrack, but my god, it had, like, the most like, anxiety-riddling danger music, I remember. And it was also one of those shows where the stories were two-parters a lot of times. So something bad would happen, the episode would end, and then you'd have to wait for the next episode. And I hate that show gave me huge anxiety as a kid because they would always leave the characters in like terrible peril, and then if I missed the episode next week, I didn't know what happened.
Tune in to the same bat time on the same bat channel. Another show. Have you heard of the cartoon called The Animals of Farthingwood?
Yes, that's another one. Yeah, that fucking.
It is.
Oh my god, like that's a show where kids show where characters just die all the fucking time. So. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. And I actually I remember either Zookstar or someone, maybe Zookstar, recommended it to me back in 2012. I watched, first of all, a review of the whole series, because as a kid, we only ever really saw the first season, and then I knew there was a second season with the Blue Foxes and stuff like that, but I never actually saw it properly until 2012, when I actually did watch, when I was back in Scotland, I watched the whole series, all 3 seasons, and yeah, it's like, even the 3rd season, even though it's kind of, that was where the show started to become a little bit more silly. Like, it gets fucking intense. Like, oh god.
It does.
But I will say on the plus side, first of all, it's a show that's aged surprisingly well, and second of all, one of the best intro themes to any cartoon. That shit is fucking amazing.
It is. That's also something that sort of traumatized me, but not as much as Howard the Duck as a kid. It's like seeing the first episodes where they're going through like a construction yard, like the couple of birds, like the husband and wife birds, how one of them gets a shot, then they return to see him and
the pheasants, the pheasants, and then the fucking lizards die in the grass fire. The fucking bird gets like the mice. The hedgehogs get run over by a car. Like, my god, that show is fucking nightmare fodder for little kids.
But after all that, the ending of that season is heartbreaking, but also really satisfying to actually I don't want to spoil it. I don't know if people care, but despite the heartbreak, especially with one of the main character passing away at the end of season one, it was quite satisfying seeing everybody reach, the promised land.
Yeah, yeah, that's an intense show. So yeah, apart from movies and television shows, nothing much else luckily traumatized us as kids. Okay, but yes, thank you for the questions, Loco Laranja, and that's it. Those were all the questions. So any final thoughts here before we end the third mini cast?
I hope to do another one in the future. This was fun.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. And so people, please, so if people are listening to this podcast, this minicast right now on YouTube, and if you sat all the way to the end, please let us know, what did you think, what have you thought of the minicast up to this point? Do you want us to do more of these? I mean, this is a minicast, but we've almost gone on for an hour now, so if you want us to do more of these kind of no-frills podcasts, please let that know, because it is fun to do these. I really have been enjoying these. So yeah, please let your voices be heard, and when the next time you hear our voice, if you haven't already listened to it, will be on the White Devil All Match Game Edition podcast. So this is Hannu TheHande Mäkinen.
And this is James T. Kaiser!
And see you on the next one. Bye!